Hey guys, Gary here. So if you remember the last video that we went through, we went ahead and added more functionality to this read config file, right? We said if preg match environment server get post request, right? So what I want to do is I want to do an else if here, right? And I want to do a preg match of file, right? So maybe we want to load the configuration from another file, right? And what we'll do is we'll say um, equals explode dot, right? And we'll say matches 1. So it could be file name.json. So basically what we want to do is we want to say if it is a JSON file, right? File parts count. Oops, count file parts. That should be -1, right? If that is a JSON file, and of course we'll do a string to lower here. If it's a JSON file, let's go ahead and actually let's say if file exists, and we'll do matches 1, else we know that should be null. Then we say config item equals null. Okay, now that's null. If we do a string to lower count -1, then we know that this is a JSON file. So what we'll do is first off we'll go ahead and say the file is equal to file get contents matches 1. Now we'll say else here, and we'll say config item equals file get content file get contents. So config item equals file in this case, and then we'll say okay, this config item and we should do an if there, and this file right here, right? If it is JSON, we'll go ahead and do a JSON decode. So file equals JSON decode of the file itself. Yes, we do want our array back, and we'll say config item equals file or self read config a file, because that's another array, right? So now we have all of that, and that should work. So if I come in here and I say, okay, I want to create a new file, and I say something.json, right? And I say, you know what, I want this equal to request username, right? Now, if I come inside of this this right here, I can say this is equal to file, and I can, inside of this file, I can come in here and say I want to read something.json, right? And if I come over here and I hit refresh over here, oh, std class username, that's null. So let's look here and find out why that is actually null. So here's something.json. Oh yeah, that's null because, oh, I didn't pass it down. So hey, that's loading now. That's great. So the next thing we want to do is I want to show you how to load the configuration from another configuration file, right? So the next part here is we'll say else if this preg match, right? We'll do that again, and we'll say config here, right? And what we want to do is I want to take whatever the match is, right? And we'll say string is equal to string replace, right? And whatever, so this is what we're searching for, anything in this array, right? Whether it be a dash, so the arrow sign, a dot, a colon. In this case, I want to replace that with a space, right? And then, or in this case, I want to replace all of that with a space, right? And then the subject is matches 1, right? Okay, so now that we're reading from that in the config array, right? So I can go in here and I can say, I want to do an explode. So parts equals explode. And I'm replacing it all with a space. So I want to explode by the space. And I want to say string here, right? So now that we have all of that, we can come in and we can say, okay, the first part of this is going to be a config file, right? It's always going to be a config file, the first part of that. So we'll say config file is equal to parts 0, and since we have that, we want to go ahead and unset parts 0. Okay, so you may be thinking, why? Why are you doing this? The reason why I'm doing that is, in the end, I want to have some code here, or code here that is equal to config get, and we're generating this code, right? So in this case, we're getting the config file, right? And then what are we doing here? So we could just be getting the config file itself, which is cool. So let's go ahead and do an implode. So and we'll do that, right? And we'll say parts. Okay. So now we want to say, okay, is this string blank? If it's not blank, then we want to append to it. So new string equals, we want to prepend to it, not append to it. So new string equals blank. If it's blank, we don't want to do anything. But if it isn't, we want to paste that in, right? So we want to put that arrow notation there. So now what we can do is place new string here. And if I go in here and I forget the name of the function that we need to call. So basically the name of the function is actually eval. So the eval function. So what it's going to do is it's going to return what the code returns, right? So in this case, it says string equals, and okay, boom. So what we want to say is config, right? And this should be that right there, right? And what are we doing here? We're actually setting a variable. So I can go through here and I can say eval the code, and then I can come back and say return or config item is equal to this new variable that I set right here, part of the string that I executed, right? So now if I come in here and I say, okay, so this is actually equal to a configuration from a different file. So I can come in here and say, okay, let's create a new config file, and let's call this right, and I say some config equal username, right? And I can come in here and I can say, okay, well, something database.json uses a config from some config username, right? So now I can come in here and hit refresh. Oh, I have parse error config line 77. Let's go look at that a little bit. I'm putting quotes there. Okay, what is this? Code is returning, so I can die or dump. Let's go hit save there. Oh, okay. So what I'm not doing is putting a semicolon there. Okay. So now if I comment this out and I hit refresh, oh, some config username is there now. So I'm actually loading a configuration from an alternate configuration file. And I can also load things from other files. That's great. So that's more than powerful enough to actually get configurations. And that is actually the end of this configuration class. This is a very, very powerful configuration class, and we can use it in lots and lots of different situations. So for now, this is the end of it. If we remember, we're dying here, and we probably don't want to die here in the future. We probably want to throw an error of some kind and have our custom error handling deal with that error in the future. So without further ado, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you don't like this video, you know what to do. If you have any questions about this class in general, let me know in the comments section down below. I would love to see how you guys are using this code. If it's useful to you, it would be great to know all of this. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Have a great day.